love, hate, blood, sweat, and tears. I've seen it all from start to end. A change of characters, a change of circumstances. The mortals declared the times are changing, and I can only scoff. For I'll tell you the length of the days are as consistent as ever. But what's the measure of men? In times of fear, they prayed for a different chapter, but new doesn't mean better. In crept the suppression and repression of fear, out of fear, post-fear. A time after a great trembling, a time of manipulation, and I took it all in. The chains before change, the grief and acceptance, the madness with the method, and the case for humanity. And that is the story. Walk with me for a moment, for I am the spirit of the times, living history.
A big round of applause for Realize. You know it's rude to read people's letters, right? But you just did. Dear son of Damon, number 5 most wanted men in the country for believing in his dreams, and even when his dreams seem not to make sense and they become fever dreams, and he stays awake, seeking for a day when society will lie awake. See, son, how are you? I mean between a man on fire and a man sending a text at 2 a.m. begging for some warmth of love. See, they are just begging for an exchange in their conditions in the hopes that maybe, just maybe, if the temperature was lower for the burning man, he could have a bit of the coolness that the man sending the text message has. And the man sending the text message dreams that maybe, just maybe, his love life has just a bit of temperature and he feels the warmth. See, son, it's been years of longing. I know 1 month turned into 1 year, a year turned into 5, 5 turned into 10, and now I have 12 on my ass, and 24/7, it makes me weak. And it makes me weep, a pain so deep, and I ask myself, what did I achieve? See, I set out to find the truth, but in finding the truth, I realized that I could not be in this booth of faking that they were trying to put my next generation in. See, son, it's the familiar things that get you. Have you ever wondered that maybe if one of Cinderella's sisters fitted in the slipper would not have a happy ending? Have you ever wondered why I sometimes look at sleeping pills with ill will? Because see, the same sleeping pills I bought for your headache were the same sleeping pills your uncle took, and they took his life. See, it's the familiar things that get you. A younger me would have said, it's a cold world, but at least alcohol does not freeze. But how can I dare say that when alcohol froze one of the people I loved? See, first the man takes the drink, then the drink takes the man. First the man reads the book, then the book reads the man. First the man looks for the truth, then the truth looks for the man. And this is proof, son. I am here. Only Christ knows the mass I've had to carry every Christmas, that I cannot walk through the door, and every morning is a portal. It's a door into another room of empty longing. And even my pictures, the pictures I have of you, son, start to fade. And the mind is a cruel organ. I mean, the mind reminds me of how the rain flirted with the roof on the night that your mother and I made you. My mind reminds me, my mind, son, my mind reminds me of the moment when your mom sauntered into my life. See, once I was a journeyman, angry at the world, mad at the world, and then we made you, and now I pray that you, my world, are not mad at me. See, some days may not have sunshine, but oh, sun, you shine. Son, I see myself in this world of post-fear, in the world where they made fearing, where they made feeling so villainous. I mean, they try to vindicate the vitriol that they spit by saying, this is the best way for society to live. See, I shunned it, son. I shunned to live into a world where mothers have to shake the hands of the abusers of their daughters because they want to keep it in the family and keep the peace. But what's to keep the peace when your own blood is ripped in pieces? See, son, I fled this world. I was mad at this world. But how are you? I mean, I get that it's a paradox that in this world, have you ever seen the fact that Stevie Wonder may have seen more than most people will ever do, despite having a pair of eyes looking inside? And I think of your mom walking into my life and opening my third eye, and you wonder why I never addressed this to your mom. I mean, there's so much to address. Oh, maybe I mean undress, or I mean the unrest that plagued myself. And son, maybe, just maybe, you're the best for this. I hope this finds you on a park bench on a peaceful morning. I know sometimes you feel like my departure left you benched by life, and you park your feelings where you think nobody sees them. But son, oh son, I do. See, son, I do wish that the sands of time would not blind my eyes like this in times like this, when I wish that just maybe I could tolerate the fake bliss a little bit. But how are you, son? How are you? I sound like a father out of time. I sound like a man who never got father time. I mean, maybe my father gave me time, but the time for me to be a father was snatched by this desire, son, to see a better world. So, son, how are you? How are you, son? How am I? Maybe your father is trying to build a bridge to nowhere. Maybe your father is coining these words from memory, but sometimes memories are not enough. Sometimes a verse is not enough to converse of the pain that is inside. By the contrast, sometimes the context is lost in text, and all that's left is what's next. What's the next message? I tell my brothers in arm, maybe my son's got talent. Maybe my son will find the right idols. Maybe my son will listen to the right voice, and maybe he might get the X factor. See, they call this life a contest, son, but context with the son of Damon. Son, how are you? I'm with you, son. Maybe not by your side, but beside me is my feelings, and I'm beside myself, trying to find myself. And sometimes my biggest regret is not seeing you grow, but oh, son, maybe you should have seen me grow. But listen, like a tear, these words might fall. Like a tear, my hopes may fall. But see, son, all you have to do is listen. Love, power. The table is set, but I don't know what the chef's cooking. Maybe it's a ref booking, another red card that comes into my life after so many fouls. But as they tell you, as the game's about to end, you can expect them to foul you. See, son, I find myself taken in chains. Maybe this is the beginning of a chain of events that will lead to change. But there's nothing, not even these leg irons on me that can break the most important chain. That is the double helical chain of DNA that is between you and I, son. See, son, maybe in our DNA we signed an NDA with a fake reality because we just built different, son. See, they transport me. They tell me they'll rewire my brain. But no copper can conduct the electricity between these two nodes, son. I see. Maybe it's going to take a toll on you to hear that your dear father is incarcerated. But I'll tell you, I'll be lacerated if you stop fighting for freedom, son, because this is why we are where we are right now. I know they'll make you another statistic. They'll say, the hue of his skin, just another black child growing up without a father. But no, son, you did not grow up without me. I am still with you. I mean, maybe I'm sorry, son. Maybe I regret the fact that I never taught you the ABCs of life enough. Or maybe you just hear my voice in basketball practice to tell you to shoot from the D. And maybe you get the happiness that exceeds popping an E. But son, you do not give an F if they say you're not G enough. What in the H am I just mumbling, rumbling, and talking about, rolling? Sorry, son, JK. But sometimes they say you gotta take the L's before you get to the M's. And when they tell you to compromise, you tell them N-O. Son, you see, they tell you about pushing P on the TV, but they're on a queue to see a man just like you. They're on a queue, son. They're trying to unveil who you are. But I tell you, son, the law is an S because it does not cross all the T's. And sometimes you gotta be double trouble. Sometimes you gotta double down and be double you. Ooh. Son, maybe these are the words of an ex-father, but I'll be damned if I don't tell you why. See, your dad has got it covered from A to Z. Son, the irony of these bars, the irony that the warden on the other side of the cell thinks he's the one with the power, but he is like me, just a prisoner of the system, for he cannot go anywhere without accounting for me. So son, different prisoners, different uniforms, still same condition. Still same condition of force fear. Still the same condition by which I make this rendition, and I beg you, son, no Mozart, no Beethoven can conduct the concert of chaos that we gotta brew, son. See, son, I need me a man. Not the one they describe on Instagram, son. Get an Instagram of sense and face the book, son. You cannot tweet away a reality. See, son, you cannot snap away these chats that we have in our dreams when we are back and forth and discussing on how we'll fight the resistance. But the irony is, son, I've never felt more free than before. Free for my words to filter. Free for my words to get to you. Through these bars, through these cell doors, through these bars. Isn't it a wonder, son, that sometimes bars are what sets free? I mean, son, I long to peek beside your window. I long to look at your face as you read this letter. As some parts might make you frown, some parts might make you feel like there is no hope in that tomorrow. But see, son, the chain of me and you can never be broken, son. It can never be broken. Because see, when I set out to fight, I told myself, before I take flight from this plane, I will not bottle it up. I know sometimes I've sought for a message in the bottle, but all you find are spam emails and a reminder that bills do not respect a silver spoon and you gotta get up. But see, son, here we are. I know. I kind of know what the chef's cooking. The chef's cooking yet another time of me being told that I'm out of my mind. But son, in a world that's upside down, the man walking upside down is just as straight as an arrow. And as straight as an arrow, these words getting to you, son, reminding you of the man you are. Because see, I need me a man, son. I need you. You either stand out, you either stand up or get out. You either stand out or get out. I mean, we've seen both sides. You, the other side, son. Carry my hopes for tomorrow. Carry the hopes of the freedom of a world that seems to know not what to do with itself. But son, I am you. You are me. And if it's just the two of us, no army can stop us, son. But first, how are you? Yes, your power is in these chains. But son, even if they chain manifestos of lies and manipulation, never stop demanding for this, son. Change. Because maybe, just maybe, somebody has to talk about change for a change. Love, power. I see fireworks in the sky, son. Sorry, not fireworks, but the works of the fire burning inside the hearts of men. The bodies of the guards that are flying off because, see, son, we're in the middle of a riot. We're in the middle of the overthrowing of the system, and I gotta write this to you. My runway is a bit cracked, so I cannot take flight tonight. I cannot be reduced to a mangled mess of memories by machine guns, because the same way they took me in is the same way they'll bring me out, son. Because I fight for a cause, and because we are in this moment, son, I gotta assure you, your father is fine. Your father has some niggling doubts. I mean, your father has always been a man of faith and a man of doubt, a man within and a man without. But see, son, here we are. It's a riot. They've tried to rewire my mind. I mean, they've run out of electricity trying to put these nodes to reconfigure my brain. But see, son, there's something beyond the pain that makes me go on. And that is you, son. I protected my memories, son. I protected the fact that maybe, just maybe, you'll never see me in this physical, mortal form, but these words will always be there. A body of work, son. The work from the aging body of your father. Because see, son, I did it. I went to another portal and I created another person, and I called him Ree The Wordsmith. Ooh, he's real, son. I imbued him with some real memories. I mean, he's a boy from 8477, Athlon, Golden Crescent, Ngoiri. Sorry, son. But who cares if he's real? These words are, son. I gave him memories. I gave him memories of him not being able to speak until he was 3, tongue-tied, but who would ever see his tongue tying the hearts of many? See, I gave him memories. I gave him memories when at the age of 6, his doctors, his prognosis said he had until 18 to live because his lungs resembled those of a seasoned chain smoker. But who knew that through these lungs, the winds of inspiration would flow and it would smoke for more than 18 years? See, I gave him real memories. I gave him the painful ones. I gave him the painful ones when he wrote 28 poems for Cheryl to tell him to stop wasting his time. I gave him memories, son. I gave him memories. I gave him things to live by. I gave him things to stick to. But what sticks to the sands of time, son? What sticks to a plane drifting every minute, every second? What sticks, son? What sticks are the memories that he carries. What sticks is the fact that at 19 he was asked if he was so close to God, why he never saw the death of his friends coming. What sticks is the fact that he was so afraid to write a script because the first time he wrote it, his best friend was no more. See, he's a shoddy God, not fit to be worshipped, but still, he's something. He cannot be worshipped because he's forever on a warship, and no one knows when this battle of his will ever stop. Some like to look at him in one dimension. Some like to see him as just a poet rambling out of his mind. Some dare to see the men behind the words. Some dare to see the pain. I mean, they say the skin is just a map of your years, but sometimes just his tongue getting through shows you the scars, the misery. He rode through it all. He dared to be king. He wished to be king. But see, son, it's a riot. I see them trying to overthrow the system by vicious means, but I tell you, son, maybe these words are nothing. Maybe these words are everything. Maybe the fact that I left you and your mother and I ended up in this scenario, and the scenario that you paint when you're with your friends is that your abandoning father is nothing but a punchline. But see, son, before I go, let me punchlines, because they made me walk from eggshells and then they put land mines. But with all the punches, son, this is how I land mine. With you, son, carrying the hope of a generation that does not have to fear feeling, carrying the hopes of a generation that doesn't have to fear bleeding, because sometimes you have to bleed on paper because, damn, blood is so hard to wipe off surfaces. And what's on the surface is, son, the connection, the message, the fact that I'm in the library trying to consume all the knowledge I can. I mean, they call these contraband. But I remember, son, when I was 4, trying to find myself, trying to find my way around a band of insecurities as I tried to be the best at contra. But see, son, this cannot contravene. This here, son, this is it. Maybe you will not see me. Maybe you will never see me in this form. But keep Ree alive. Tell him that maybe at 15 he was a prodigy. Maybe at 20 he was a bit confused. Maybe at 25 he had lost direction. Maybe at 30 cardinal directions will not mean anything because he made the cardinal sin of believing in his dreams. See, tell him that it's worth it. Tell him to hold on. Tell him to hold on, because just because it's on hold does not mean it's hung up. Tell him something he's never dared to write himself before. Tell him he cannot write his way out of his pain, but he has to live a life worth writing. Tell him that maybe sometimes he has to step off the desk, maybe make the world his desk, maybe open up his chest to new experiences, because sometimes what experience is a cautionary tale against hearts, taking charge of your life, falling in love, because God forbid you get butterflies in your stomach. But see, that is the final form. It's the reason why it's not caterpillars in the stomach, son. That is the final form. Maybe it's time for you to feel. Maybe it's time for you to know that nobody cares about what's real. So if Ree is not real, son, well, I do not care. These words are everything. And in everything, son, I long to make it to you. Maybe one day a resistance will arise. Maybe one day a resistance will. Maybe one day a resistance. Maybe one day, maybe one day. Maybe one. Maybe. But son, how are you? Tell your mother that there's nothing in everything. And maybe the wishes and kisses blown to directions unknown will someday translate to something. Because see, son, this is the world. But the world can be your son. See, I am you. I love you, son. Never stop fighting. My runway is cracked. I shall not take flight tonight, son. I shall fight to get out the right way, because I taught you the right way. And what does that say about me when I cannot wait for what I put in motion? The locomotion of my emotion traveling in your direction might feel like a potion, but see, son, this is the world. This is where fairy dust is just nothing but angel dust, numbing you to the reality that your father misses you. Though they may call him lost, these words, son, they will find you. So how are you? Love, power. You know it's rude to read people's letters, right? But you just did tonight. That's it. That's the poem. That's the poem when you find that asking for nudes from a stranger is so much more offensive than asking a poet, does this piece come from real life? I mean, who cares if it does not come from real life? These words are real. That's it. That's the poem. I mean, I'm reminded of an allegory in the category of the vouchers of media circling around a body, waiting to devour it right to the last of its bones. I mean, isn't that how Diana died? Oh, sorry, I forgot to say princess. I forgot to remind you that after death, there are no titles, just sandy tombstones and 6-foot holes dug into the ground. And maybe you expect me to drive 6-inch nails right into my palms so that you can see that I'm on a cross for this. I'm on a crossroads. But see, sometimes there's just no resurrection. Sometimes the hood on your shoulders, there's no one to take it off. And sometimes the borders of the mind that you seek to move to find your freedom is the very thing that they will keep fighting against. It's when they tell you, oh, maybe you're keeping it too real. Oh, I don't like this poem, it's too sad. Oh, I do not like your ears for they filter too much. That's it. That's the poem. That's the perfect poem that they never told you, that a poet is always writing backstage when he has his back to the stage, thinking about the fact that maybe his entire life he's just walking on a stage and all they want from him are metaphors that emit a force. But what about the forces that he has to fight to stand in front of an audience? To stand in front of the eyes of men that hover above him like drones, to stand in front of men that hover above him, looking for a way to make clones out of him. I mean, that's it. That's the perfect poem. That's the poem that the poet dares not to speak, for he's called, he's unmanageable. He's too much into himself. But sometimes when all you have is yourself, all you can big up is yourself. Sometimes when you're in the corner, trying to find the words that keep you going round and round the same point, the point of the matter is, sometimes the ballpoint striking the paper is the best thing that ever happened to men. Sometimes the words refuse to stay on the page. Sometimes the words go up and they merge with reality. Sometimes the words make me forget if I am realized or Ree the Wordsmith or whatever it is you might think of calling me. See, I called myself a wordsmith as a big fuck you to the ex who said I talk too much. Or how's this for talking too much? That's it. That's the perfect poem. That's the perfect poem, but let's get to the point. I mean, they'll find another one. They'll find another poet. They'll find a more agreeable one. They'll find another one more malleable to the wishes of their hearts. They'll find another one they can stretch in different shapes and sizes. See, I can stretch. See, I can reach, but just not to your specifications. See, I can be, but not according to how you see me being. See, that's it. That's the poem. That's the perfect poem. That's the perfect poem in front of me. Do you know what? Sometimes it's 1. Sometimes you want to make it 2. Sometimes it's 4. Sometimes it's the 8 tentacles of your mind. Sometimes it's the sweet 16 verses you write that 32 gigabytes cannot accommodate, for there is so much packed into every letter, every lettering, carrying something. So yes, that's it. That's the perfect poem. Because see, sometimes, just because they pay for you does not mean they bought you. Just because they pray for you does not mean they give you breath. I mean, what do they pray for? I mean, when they say free the artist, they're not talking about the man. Free him so he can be our slave. Free him so he can tap dance to our pleasures. Free him so he can show up and smile. Because that's what we need. But what does the artist need? Does the artist bleed? Does the artist read his own thoughts and decide maybe that's too much? Or maybe it's just a malfunction of my brain that makes me so willing to be open with strangers but not sit in front of a table and table my feelings? Because God forbid, I'll be deserted before the main course. So that's it. That's it right there. That's the perfect poem. That's the perfect poem for an age that has been gripped by fear so much that it turned to something far worse, far more grotesque, a suppression of all feeling. I mean, I get it. Past the pandemic, I meant pandemic. There's a real pandemic of hearts refusing to step out of lockdown. But as I stand, these hearts shall never be locked down. So that's it. That's the perfect poem. Hushed applause. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to think. They don't know what to feel. Because sometimes the images are bigger than they appear. Sometimes the images reflect the very same ugliness, vitriol, and anger that inundates Twitter to the point where feeling happy for someone is so foreign. But that's it. That's the perfect poem. Ladies and gentlemen, or men who really are gentle but want to be referred to as such, laden in these words, our worlds, spaces that few will ever step in, spaces that will give faces more perspective. Maybe sometimes all you need to do to a masterpiece is to throw a bucket of paint at it, because God forbid they tell you what to paint. That's it. That's the perfect poem. I bid you adieu. Are you afraid now? Good.
When we call, we pick. Caveat. When the world rolls around Pela's tongue like a newborn testing the weight of the milk of his mother's breast, your gold laughter booms in the stanzas sung in my chest. You are the new word lurking in the shadows of my smile, so when Pela dips his tongue in a new word, caveat, soft and gentle, careful enough to not lose the taste of its originality, yet careless enough to not lose the place of surrender at the majestic of what it's like to come undone at the tip. My mind dares to leap, to jump off the cliff, to drown inside you or to have you drown inside me. You are the weapon that tells a story of all the ways God steals a chance to sit in my poem. You are the God fighting to sit in my poem. So yes, dear listeners, take off your shoes, for this is holy ground, but there ain't no burning bush here, only burning hearts. Allow me to tell you what it's like to have a heart burn with so much sting you forget the first time a scorpion stung you. Yes, love is that potent. Its savage form invades you from underneath, forcing you to tell a story from the backyard of your mother's 2-bedroom apartment, body of skin, scented in pine and cinnamon and sweat merging into setting sun, a tale of two becoming one. I do. Before this altar, peopled with prayers too heavy for our mouths to carry, I do. For all the days you say I love you with your actions, the letters with which you write my name in letters from the sand of your father's absence, I do. For all the days we forget to love each other enough, I do. For all the days when our love is peopled with dying songs, when your love is like a bark without a dog, a soundless bone, even then, I do. For now, I do. And for always, I do. Grief is sometimes silence. It is learning to cry by myself without making a sound. Grief is hearing the soft squeal from when you hold my waist only to wake up to the non-existence of you. Grief is wearing your favorite perfume, hoping that it runs fast enough to raise you from the dead. It's been 6 years. It's been 6 years since you chose to rest beside the ones you call comrade. It's been 6 years since you chose death over raising this child with me. It's been 6 years, and I'm reminded every day of all the ways your teeth was crooked when our daughter smiles. The daughter you couldn't dare to stay alive for. Grief is raising a child that carries your face in the way her cheeks blossom. Grief is raising a child that reminds me every day that you are gone, that you did not love me enough to come back from the battlefield. Grief is blaming you for dying. Grief is manipulating your dead body till it learns how to breathe again, till you learn how to come back to me. Grief is making our bed as you used to, as I taught you to. Grief is going to bed with my arms wide open, hoping that these arms are wide enough for you to choose them over the 6 feet you chose. Grief is wishing my grief to sleep, but waking up to see that it had made me breakfast. Your favorite oat and Maryland cookies. I am now the superstitious woman who dared to love you, who dares to believe that a child can become a house of mirrors, of reflection of you, that this child that is yours as she is mine can be a vessel for your second coming. I am now the mother who nails the cross of your death to our daughter's body and my love. This cross is too heavy for her to carry, so please come and be her Simon. Tonight, I'm beside your graveyard, reading poems, hoping that they sprout from my mouth as seeds to the ground and they germinate, hoping that you germinate tonight. I am beside your graveyard, digging up your decayed body with our stories, demanding this earth to spit you out of our embrace, demanding this soil to give you back to me. I have questions. Did I not love you enough? Was my affection too small for you that the only place you could lay your head to rest was inside a grave and not on my shoulders? Grief is wishing I could turn back the hands of time, wishing against all odds that when death knocks on your door, you do not invite her in. Grief is sometimes being naive, but it is my grief, and you dare not call me naive. The most painful thing about grief is continuity. It's how your words lead me to depression. It's how your hugs that were once a safe place are now a reminder of the many ways love can sting. I remember it like yesterday, your death. In trying to be a hero for your country, you forgot how to be a husband and a father of an unborn child. I remember it like yesterday, your death. You couldn't even deem it fit to announce your death with your own mouth. You had to let someone else tell me that you had taken a bullet for a life that did not love you as much as I do. Well, if you can hear me, just so you know, when you died, you were buried with a piece of me. When you died, you were buried with the piece that is me. It's the last year of high school, and we have been given assignments to use our voices to tell stories of a mother's love. Unattached, I stand before my classmates, sinking into the confidence booming from their bright eyes, singing songs of slow lamentation as my mother's name drops from my mouth, slowly, still, yet moving, all in one in all. Somewhere from the corner of my eyes, I see a painter playing God to the tired moist of this school's wall, and I pause, under my breath, short and finite. I say a prayer that I am the tired moist gobbling down the school's wall, and that somewhere at the sidelines there is a painter waiting to play God over my life like David. I sing psalms to a God I cannot see, begging him not to cast me away from his presence, for a mother's love, or rather the lack of it, is what it's like to be planted by the riverside and still not bear fruits in due season. So if you ask me what it's like to be loved by a mother, I will tell you that a mother's love is a shapeshifter that wears leather jacket on sunburnt days. I will tell you to let me define it by my ages. At 8, a mother's love is Geist, is evidence in being called a liar for all the truths a growing girl is too scared to speak. At 12, a mother's love is Geist and forcing sanitary pad down your pubic area with no prior education to how much blood this bag is meant to carry until you spill all of yourself on yourself. A mother's love is a language that forces a 12-year-old to learn how to raise herself because the mother is too busy loving that she forgets to teach. At 16, a mother's love is an altar where a daughter is slain to make room for a husband, a father that has forgotten his way home. A mother's love is a doing that sacrifices the fruit of her womb over and again and again and again to raise a sleeping man from his tomb. A mother's love is a grief that refuses to accept that her body now sings a funeral song for all the ways she will never be complete. A mother's love will never be complete. My mother's love can never be complete. Now, if you ask me what it's like to be loved by a mother, I will tell you that a mother's love isn't having to learn to forgive yourself for all the ways you were forgotten. I will tell you that a mother's love isn't having to unlearn the languages of a grief that caked itself in your mother's grief, your father's death, your self-taught sorrow. For you see, my mother's love is a canvas painting of transient moments, a camouflaged mirror, an evolution of the ages. My mother's love is a language that changes form. My mother's love is a tabernacle where you offer prayers that will never be answered, like how you wished you were not your mother's daughter, or how you wished you could talk about your mother the way your classmates talked about theirs, but jokes on you. So my fellow classmates, do not look too far. You will find a mother's love in the lies we call forgiving and forgetting, because how dare you forgive what you have not forgotten? Thank you.
It's buried. It's buried. Buried beneath this is a heart, one that beats to its own metronome. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One that bleeds one that bleeds at its own timing. Buried beneath this beating heart is chaos, beautiful chaos, but it never stays buried. It always rises to the surface and shows the ugly face. It brings dark thoughts that are so blindingly black that no illumination can pass through. My mind is a dark horse of some sort, something so seemingly small in this grandeur that is my body. It is a wonder how much it makes me do. My thoughts are wild thoughts that cannot be tamed. Some of the things that I think of cannot be named, and that's why they call me crazy. Or am I what they say? They say that I have some unscrewed nuts in my head, so they put me in this Arkham asylum jokers. But the thing is, I'll choose crazy any day if it means that I am free. Freer than an uncaged bird soaring through the Alps, flying above the Everest. If it means that I am free to live not just in my own head. I am free to express. My mind may be a soulless monster leading the way, but my actions do follow. Fear doesn't take the wheel in this head, I do. Fear doesn't take the wheel in this head, I do. Fear has never been able to make me do what I wouldn't do. Because the only thing that I am afraid of are the things that I am willing to do, but I am never so afraid that I am not willing to do it. You. It is sickening to see you sit straight-backed, walk tongue-tied, fall face first, and talk tongue-tied only at fear's call. He has you wrapped around his finger. That ring that he has given to you is a handcuff. You call me a prisoner, but I'm in chains. And you're in chains to fear, enslaved in imaginary cells, prisoner of your own mind. The words at the tip of your tongue are tied to the same red rope fixed to your imagination. Your mouth can run wild, but your own tame thoughts have chained you. Your heart is made up of many tiny cells, and the same have jailed you. They are sane man. There are two types of people in this world. There are the thinkers and those of us that are crazy enough to do. We beings with insane enough confidence to take our dreams out of the nighttime and allow the air of day breathe on them. Those of us that make plans and don't sit around waiting for the perfect time to do it. Let's get something straight. My mind may be crooked, but I am not the crazy one here, except if the definition of crazy has been ripped off Merriam-Webster. Because doesn't crazy mean? Sorry, sometimes I get thrown off my own train of thought. Yes, crazy. Because doesn't crazy mean doing something that doesn't make sense? So look at me. Which of us is crazy now? Which of us is crazy?
Yes.
You. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yes. You sit at the throne in your own head, God over everyone's actions, judge over how politicians are so corrupt. Mr. How hard can it be to do the right thing? What have you done? I become the crazy one when I think that my actions can create a ripple that sinks the ship of pro-rulership. I become the madman that puts my mandate on the ballot box because one man cannot change a country, but you and your army of keyboard warriors can. I want a can of Coke. Sorry. My mouth and my mind have become so intertwined that my mouth and my mind say the same thing. And sometimes I wish that you could be like me and speak without filter. They are coming, though. I can hear them, they are coming. I think it's nighttime, I have to go. But before I go, what if all of your plans to change the world could actually change the world, and all you've done is turn it to a bench in the park and sit on it? What if your ideas and your dreams aren't wild, but you just lack the crazy faith to take a wild chance at yourself? What if the difference between this you and a better you is that you that has succumbed to fear? What if the sky is wide enough for all of us to soar, and the only reason why you've sat down there is because fear has a hold on you? It's true. It's true. It's not. It's not true. Forget everything I said, for these words that I just speak of are simply the musings of a madman. They are here for me. I have to go now. All right, Stories of Ijapa, the tortoise, of his treacherous trickery and how he conned the birds and convinced them to pluck out their feathers so he could soar above the skies and have dinner in the heavens. Stories of him deceiving the king into marrying his daughter and almost dwindling the dog of his mother. My people have stories. And the truth is that we have all learnt of the treasury that he holds in his treasury, and all of these stories usually end in a tragedy. The only one that has a happy ending is the one where he defeats the hare. All the rest of them end with him losing all of his hair, or breaking his back into this craft sculpture that he now carries around his back. But I am not just another regular tattoo tale, and this is not just another regular turtle tale, for in this tale, the turtle takes the skater skull, and like a pancake that has spent appropriate time in the frying pan, he flips it. You see, the tortoise saw that the king ruled with an iron fist. He saw the king's paws, the lion's fist, firmly on the people, and he knew that this man ruled however he deemed fit. And nobody's words could dissuade or sway away this lion from having his way, from roaring his schemes into strategies. The tortoise was neither big nor brave, nor strong nor swift, but his heart held a lot of bad blood. One could say that he was prime Taylor Swift. He wasn't the kind of animal that has all these hurts in his heart and decides to just shake it off. This king was a tyrant, and this tortoise decided to make his throne empty, a blank space. Ijapa was old and wise, and his motive was as cold as ice. His motive was simple: rid the jungle of the lion's pride. But the problem is that simple doesn't always mean easy. You said the lion had a council. They called themselves the Big Five: the lion, the leopard, the rhino, the buffalo, and the elephant. And Ijapa knew that if he wanted to really bring this king mischief, he had to first take down all his chiefs. For you to take down 5, you have to start at 1. Now, if your first spot was the leopard, then you are spot on. For this animal moved around with all of his spots on, unable to hide. If all the Big Five tried to hide and you could spot none, you could at least spot one, for his spot shone a spotlight on him, the leopard. The leopard was neither as strong as the tiger nor as fast as the cheetah. And so killing him was the easiest. A knife to the chest. The blood-sniffing vultures would do the rest. The elephant was the next. Now, this elephant fell with a force that shook the whole jungle. This tortoise was becoming a force that shook the whole jungle. Because how he killed the elephant and the rhino, how would I know? But for his next execution, he sought the help of the only other smart animals in the jungle, the apes. And guess who their target was? The buffalo. You see, the buffalo, unlike the baboon, was a buffoon. He was all buff and no brains, all bluff and no blood stains, superficial fight with no actual physical might. And when the ape and his crew got him, it was simply night. And in just 2 years, this tortoise had rid the king of all of his defenses, for he knew that a lion's strength is not in his strength, but in numbers. The strength of a lion is in his pride, and the same will be his undoing his pride. So bit by bit, he took out members of the pride, and he killed all of them till he had the king alone, and then he took his life, and then he took his throne. I may have lied. I apologize, because I think I may have lied in this story. You see, this story, in it hides a tragedy. For only 3 days after Ijapa tasted victory, his life decided to japa, to leave him so swiftly. His stricken age had struck him and stripped him of his win. But this win was a win nonetheless, because a win isn't measured by whether or not you live long to enjoy the win. The true gauge of a hard-fought battle is how hard you fought in battle, because only a coward cowers at the sight of change. Only a coward is a man that cowers at the sight of change. And the brave is the man that takes opportunity by the scruff of his neck and fights neck and neck to the death with fate. And I know that we know that fear and death are both wicked people. But death is a lot more. So fear is a lot more. A true warrior would rather die in the heat of battle than sit at home cuddling with fear, because death may strip you of life. But you know what fear does? It strips you of a chance to have ever lived. How long was it? I have PTSD, and I decided to write this piece on PTSD. PTSD, please tread so deliberately. You see, I know you want to love me, but I have PTSD damage beyond repair, damage because I chose to care, damage because this damn age has damned us to hurt as much as we love. PTSD, please tread so delicately. If you choose to love me, then love me with gentle hands and a soft touch, and carry my hands with the same care that you show an egg, for it has cracked one too many times, and if it falls now, I assure you it's going to break. PTSD, please treat this substance deliberately. Now that you've made this choice, please treat this substance, our affection, with attention. For I have experienced so much trauma in my life that it is impossible to love me and experience no drama. So make this decision to love me intentionally. My decision to love you back is one to push PTSD past this scary dread and feel once again. PTSD, please text severally daily. Please text me every day, or better still, reply me, because I will text you every day, in the morning, in the dead of night, in the scorching heat, in the freezing cold. Please text me, because whenever I see your messages, all of my inside begin to leap for joy. That notification is the music that my happiness dances to. PTSD, play this song daily. Play the song of how you would always stay with me, because I have OD'd on your scent, and I'm now addicted, and it is the best high. So there is no PTSD point trying similar drugs, because PTSD pain travels so deeply. When one PTSD person trusts someone dearly, and the other PTSD person takes selfish decisions, and I know that you don't want any PTSD person to suffer depression. So if this "I love you forever" isn't true, and you're not sure that I'm the one for you, then PTSD, please try someone different. I'm standing, blood dripping from this knife glistening in the bright of night. You see, there's no need for me to dispose of the murder weapon, because the only thing that I regret is that I didn't do this any sooner, that I didn't dispose of this brother at the first chance I got, that I didn't wait, that I didn't watch the blood drain from his heart the same way water is poured into a basket, that I waited this long before I heard his body thud against the ground the same way to sound when he hits the casket. The only problem I have, and my only regret, is that I didn't do this any sooner. I have never killed anyone that didn't deserve it, and this man deserved it more than the rest. This man called apathy. You see, apathy came into my house in the depth of night and made sure that I never saw the dawn of day. I woke up one morning to see that it wasn't morning. I woke up one morning to see all my plans dead in front of me. I woke up to see morning. And soon apathy moved in with laziness and procrastination, and these two guys, his best friends, are vampires, blood-sucking vultures that come into your life and take it apart. So what did I do? I took all my fears and my flaws and I conjured it into his spirit, and then I killed him. So I stand in front of you today guilty. Guilty of killing all of my slothfulness. I stand in front of you, my kings, because the only person that rules this body now is diligence. Show me a man diligent in his work. He would not stand before mere men, but before kings. Thank you, my kings.
Before you hold me in contempt, to a system that holds my very expression in contempt, I want to express and I want to attempt to illuminate the abandoned room of justice and honesty. No facts exempted. See, resistance is an act of desisting or resisting, and the very form of seeking for justice tonight is some form of resistance. And I want to say today that, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my client is being charged. But I insist it's a mischarge, a miscarriage of justice. I want to lay claim that it is important for us to acknowledge that the persecution bench, its persistence in demonstrating, as per case, a man who refused to pack his soul in a case and hand it over to a system. I know my client's name is Damon, but there's no need to treat him like a demon. See, his name means to subdue and conquer, for he has subdued and conquered. He has lived up to his name. He has subdued and conquered. A very few of us can dare to face, so I come face to face with this real condition, the condition that has us in captive in this room. Your Honor, my client is above this condition. He is free as can be. He is free as can be. See, the privilege of a lifetime being able to exercise who you are. But before I delve into my case, I want to make a personal allusion that right here, right now, if I share more feelings than necessary, it's because feeling is important for this case. Tonight is the story of a man who wore his heart on his sleeve and got cut on his sleeve, and he was left disabled and vulnerable, whilst apathy had him on a table, feasting on him without empathy. I guess the path was always clear all along, that justice was never meant to swing, the pendulum of justice was never meant to swing both ways. So my question would be then, which side would you swindle when the truth is laid bare? Bear in mind, history is watching, and history is the judge of all of us. So before you hold me in contempt, isn't humanity already in contempt these days? Your Honor, I want to call apathy to the stand. See, I've known of a nice guy who got his heart broken, who got his heart cheated on. They say nice guys finish last, but I think maybe, just maybe, it's because most times they don't know that they are in a race. Fast forward, Mandem became a heartbreak kid. Yes. He would bulldoze love, and he had this crazy obsession with the card game Crazy 8. He would declare hearts and break them like a joker. Ladies and gentlemen, we lost this man to apathy. See, I've known of a man who's educated, who had his 9-to-5 job, but could hardly fight with his bills and his rent. And he felt ill to the fate and became a bride who never got his revenge. Like in summary, he couldn't kill his bills. So what he then decided was to swap his morals for dollar bills. Ladies and gentlemen, we lost another good man to apathy. See, I've known corporations that value profit over progress, or at least progress. But whilst their employees are left broken, just walking dead, just like zombies. See, I know you love the show, but what does it show? Apathy. See, how much is feeling too much? When the world tells you to suck it up, become a man, don't let anybody walk over you. But at the same time, you have to be vulnerable at the same time. But when you're broken, when the whole system is down, you know what they say. It is what it is. The internet is not a real place. Not until it gets you locked out of real places. But I know most of you would say, but they're reals though. But when are you going to start understanding that 30 seconds is not enough for you to have your main course, or you're being served seconds? Food for thought. After all, I don't think reels necessarily recognize reels though. So are we going to continue scrolling on our Instagram feed? I guess it's okay for you to be gaining fat off the gram in an instant. Or is that dopamine? Oh, that's dope, See, most of us are getting high on characters, but never stop to think about our own characters. I guess Gone in 60 Seconds was not a movie after all. Like how Nicolas Cage would say it. You're always afraid of being left behind. FOMO. So should I take my face off to resonate with the world that has ghosts roaming among the living, or we're gonna keep our rage burning inside like the Ghost Rider? No mercy to your soul. But Isaac, Yamie, see, the internet gives us a voice though. Oh snap, like how that private chat message has you painting a picture as long as you can give a story, right? See, the world is a scary place. But if you free your mind, the rest would follow. But nobody tells you that this freedom comes with a dome. Nobody tells you that these followings come with an uninvited decree, or rather a degree. See, the internet is far too quick to educate, but far too quicker to confiscate, suffocate, fabricate, and implicate, and slow to vindicate. See, that's what happens when everybody thinks they're an expert, but fail to realize that they're just excerpts, short extracts of this full movie called life. See, most people would think their ways of living should be our ways of living. I guess with our opinions, we are dead among living. God forbid some of us are not broad enough to broadcast. See, the internet is a scary place, right? I guess we have these foreign people staying in this world wide web with narrow minds, shallow minds, but bear in mind, I'm out of my mind, or maybe yours. I guess we find ourselves sitting on cancels that we then turned into couches, and these couches have made us vouchers that we now prey on people. Having this savage garden that has us creating a cult following. I guess as we rewrite history with our Twitter fingers, via DMs, from AM to PM, I know the internet might not be a real place, but I know it holds a real place in our hearts. Lawyer things, right? See, society cannot afford to be apathetic towards some issues. But who defines issues? So probably my issues could be considered tissues, but even tissues became one of the most valuable commodity during a pandemic. Okay, let's talk. I want to ask you a few questions. Why are we alive? So probably the secular response would be to continue our existence. But does our existence really matter? Do we really matter? See, for me, my existence probably is to feel, to be able to express, but not for the sole reasons to impress. See, my journey of spoken word started with me trying to get close to my father. Remember him? Damon, not a demon. And I was asking Mom, how's Dad like? And then Mom looked at me and said, son, your dad is a magician. It's from this land called Imagine, where they embrace the gift of imagine, where they will create worlds with his words. Every single time when he speaks, the English language will bow down to his will, ending up creating this wheel that has his life revolve around. I guess that's where I got it from, right? Because poetry became the tree of life that has its substance, that became my sustenance, that created a wheel, that emanated to create a wheel that revolved around my life. So let me be honest. The past few months have been really hard. I've been battling with being human. See, being human was the reason why my father was incarcerated. Stop feeling, they say. I guess I was trying to find in myself in myself. See, in the beginning, this case was all about avoiding to lose. But then I realized there was nothing to lose, but everything to prove. We are because we feel. We are because we feel. See, I, being a poor man, only has my dreams. So as I spread my dreams on your feet, please tread lightly and don't destroy my dreams. See, this was no crime scene. This was a poetic scene. And a slight confession again as I part. Some of your favorite artists are just escape artists.
The shackles of apathy have left their mark. But I resisted and left my mark on the shackles too. Mark this date, spirit of the time. When character assassination is the character of a nation.
When death by 1,000 cuts is replaced by death by 140 characters.
When cubicles replace the cotton field for slaves to the system.
When rage fights reason and speech is seasoned with indifference. When mirrors get foggy and tell lies and windows are danger zones.
When fear of the normal enters the conversation to break communication.
When it's post-fear and now we all just post fear as a punchline.
When freedom is outlawed and only outlaws can be heroes, villains to save the day. I don't know when to say when.
But that's the weight of poetry. Yet in itself is weightless, with the gracefulness of a virtuoso delivering a final performance. That's the darkness of the psyche. Yet from it ensues illumination to shake apathy.
Bruce Wayne knew he had to be more to save the soul of Gotham. Despite his grief and pain, he had to be Batman. See, sometimes our words have to be more. Sometimes we have to be more. We have to be the resistance.
To resist the impulse to quiet the pulse of humanity, to resist the cloak of apathy which was never made to feed our shoulders, to shoulder the burden of being different yet yearning to make a difference.
If not this, then what? If not now, then when? If not us, then who? Poets on an island, aka the resistance, got something to say. But first, let our words speak. Let them speak of a time after post-fear. As the spirit of the times bears witness, the struggle continues.